Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko squeeze the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko squeeze the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis E. Wickedness, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su.
How old are you?
I am 28, sir.
And where do you live?
In Kitty.
You own your own home?
Not as yet.
Apply for a house lot?
Not yet.
Well, sit down. You're not participating on the enhancement of your own life. At 20.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
How we gonna do a bowling man walk right now? You ready? Boxer, let me go now. Hear me sing now. Bowling walk, bowling walk, bowling walk, everything. Bowling walk, truck, bowling walk.
So if I got children, I must suffer them to take what I don't want to eat for myself. That is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. You're out there in front of GCOM. We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protests every week in front of GCOM.
Tuesday we had 8 persons. Literally.
One second, Rhonda. I kind of like, honestly, I like that laugh. I'm going to rephrase, I'm going to ask the question again. And
man, don't make me laugh, man. Oh, I tell you.
Rhonda, one second. One second, Rhonda. I'll ask you the question again. Rhonda, can you give us an update on the protest in front of GCOM?
Man, yes, 8 persons at the protest.
All right, they had 8 persons at the protest. This is not a protest tonight, but every program is like a protest. And I hope folks who are against protest, finding all sorts of excuses why they shouldn't be protest. I hope they're watching tonight, because under any dictatorship, as is the case in Guyana, a dictatorship, you might not see it as boldly as you're seeing in Venezuela, but in Guyana, there is a dictatorship. And anyone who is against protest, and I want you guys to read between the lines, mind you, anyone who is against protest, especially in a country like Guyana right now that has a government like the PPP, anyone who is against protest is against progress. You cannot have a regime like the PPP getting away with all manner of things, and there is no protest. There's no one really in the streets standing up to tell those vagabonds in the PPP that enough is enough. I repeat, and there might be some in the audience who might, if you protest, the PPP gonna lock you up. Or if you protest, the PPP gonna send this person or that. Look, people say that I'm a chief protester. Well, might be true. Been there. I understand what protests do to regimes like the PPP. It weakens them. It makes them scared. But when you have folks who do not want to protest, the PPP loves them. Oh, everything is hunky-dory in the country. And you have all sort of people, they jump in bed with the hustlers, those political hustlers in the PPP, and everybody, all of the hustlers get together, they snap photographs, they play the little nice music, they jump up, whether they jump up behind donkey carts, whether they jump up behind horse carts, or some jump up behind trucks, and they whine and they waylay, and that is development for them. That is progress for them. That is making the people come together. You know what I mean? What people come together? A handful of people come together, wind up, dance up, and then the next day, guess what? Is misery. Cost of living high. They go after your people. They slaughter your people. They jail your people. And all because some of them because they want to hustle, and they find a way to hustle. Now, nothing is wrong with hustling. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. You can make your money. You could throw your parties. You could do it, yeah. But when you join forces with the oppressors and you feel that it is justifiable, at some point in time, it's going to come back and bite you. Mind you, it's going to come back and bite you wherever it's going to bite you. And when it stings you, guess what? You're going to come rushing to people like the activists and so forth, right? To jump to your defense. Anyways, I don't know what's happening in your neck of the woods. People were looking for me last night. All sort of people were looking for me. GT Rudger was looking for me. Joylyn Marshall was looking for me. Deborah Clark, well, she wasn't looking for me. Deborah Clark and those people who have time with me, right? But all of you were looking last night. I wasn't on, and there's no excuse, but I'm on tonight, right? Those of you who have already shared the link, thank you all so much. Those who haven't shared the link, I'm not going to sit there and beg you. But if you do, you do. But we thank you. All right. So what is happening in your neck of the woods other than they don't like protests? And let me just let me just show you guys why protest is important. Look, you know, we all at some point in time. Do you recognize anybody protesting there? You're protesting. Anybody protesting? You know, protest is good. There's nothing bad about protest, guys. Let me read some of your comments. Who thinks that protesting is bad? Somebody said good food night instead of good night. Who thinks? Any one of you out there? Claudette Allen, how are you? Please give my regards to your other half, Shrimpy, DJ Shrimpy. But look at this. Protest, you have to protest against corrupt regime. You have to take a position. You can't jump and you can't holler and you find excuses not to protest. All sort of excuses not to protest. Look, the little ones are protesting. The little ones are protesting. You know what I mean? They are protesting. It's a shame and a disgrace. Every single day, misery upon misery in Guyana. And you're telling people, oh, all sort of excuses. Some of them fall, oh, we can't protest. They're going to lock you up. They're going to do this. They're going, who cares? Who cares? Some of you might be saying, oh, Ben Chap is all far away. And he's saying, who cares? But if he was in Guyana, it was a different story. Come on. Those of you who say that don't really know me, right? Been there, done that. When there wasn't social media, it was even more brutal and dangerous under the PPP regime. Only today, you know, some folks we were talking, you know what this headline says? This was back in 2002. And I'll show you guys how protest is important. Again, don't let anybody tell you guys otherwise. Protest is important. Anybody who justifies not protesting, something is wrong with them. Now, look, big headline, Sabbath News, February 14, 2002. Well, what's sort of day? The February 14th, I think, is what kind of day? Whatever day, man. Some, not Mashramani, some Lover's Day or whatever it is. So somebody's saying, Hollis Dainty is saying no sound. Oh, come on, you have sound, right? Maybe turn up your volume, please. Everybody else is having. Everybody else, can you hear me, right? Good. Look at this headline. The headline says, the headline is Valentine's Day. Y'all could tell I'm old, right? Hey, Beverly, Susan, all of you guys. Look, This is what the headline says. Thanks, Lynette Nelson, and all of you guys. This is what the headline says. 2002. Anybody can read it? Take your glasses off if you wear. Anybody, can you read it? Read it. Let's hear. Read it. What it says. This was back on July 14th, 2002. July 14th, 2002. This is what it says. Stabrook News headline: Ben Sharp pleads not guilty to assaulting 3 cops. Did you guys hear that, right? Ben Sharp, yeah. Ben Sharp, right? Ben Sharp pleads not guilty to assaulting 3 cops. 3 cops. Ben Sharp assaulted Bruce Lee, Kung Fu, Chuck Norris, right? Sylvester Stallone, Mike Tyson, Ben Sharp. Ben Sharp pleads not guilty to assaulting 3 cops. Big strapping me assaulted three cops. Now, the story ain't done yet. And this is why protesting is important. You should never be afraid of protesting. Any politician who is afraid of protesting, or any politician who is afraid of going and hitting the streets and protesting, they don't worth my vote. I'm telling you guys, and there's no justification for not protesting. Now look, listen to this. It's Stabrook News, February 14, some Lovers Day, whatever you call it, Valentine, whatever day, yeah. It says here, a visibly bruised Mark Ben Sharp yesterday appeared again before Acting Chief Magistrate Juliet Holder Allen, his 6th for the month, and was granted $10,000 bail on charges of assaulting 3 policemen. Now, you guys picked up what's happening there, right? Ben Sharp appeared, of course, yours truly, yesterday. Ben Sharp appeared again before Acting Chief Magistrate Juliet Holder Allen, his 6th for the month. His 6th for the month. And that was the 14th of February, halfway through the month. And I've already appeared 6 times in front of the magistrate, the Acting Chief Magistrate Juliet Holder Allen. 6 times already. Locked up all 6 times. Came out back, go back, protest, came out back, lock up, protest, magistrate, protest, back again. 6 times. And of course, there were probably other times before the end of the month. 6 times. Now, the story now gets sweeter. The headline says, a visibly bruised Ben Sharp assaulted 3 cops. Now, let me continue reading. A lawyer for Ben Sharp said in court he had been beaten and at the station when he went there on Tuesday. So listen to this here now. This time around, the television personality faced 3 counts of assault. He was alleged to have assaulted Police Corporal number 14845, Eustace Abram, known as RoboCop. So I beat up and assaulted RoboCop. 3 cops at the same time. RoboCop is one of them, according to the... I beat up and I assaulted him. The other policeman that I assaulted, according to all of these charges, 3 of them I beat up at the same time. RoboCop is one of them. Then they claim that I beat up, assaulted Superintendent Leon Fraser. And the other one that they charged me for beating up is Sergeant 10973 Ian Smith, also known as Gangster. So according to the charges, me, beat up those 3 notorious policemen who are part of the notorious Black Clothes Police. Mark Anthony Ben Sharp, they charged me for beating the 3 of them up. Those men who were accused of extrajudicial killings, left, right, and center back in 2002, I get charged of beating them up. 3 of them. I beat them up, bust up their head, bust up their mouth. Right? So the point that I'm making, as dangerous as those guys, dangerous as those guys were, they said that I beat them up. The 3 of them went to court with me like pussycats, like meow, their tails between their legs. But yet they were the bad ones out there, accused of killing people left, right, and center. I get charged of beating the 3 of them up. Can you guys believe that? The point is, even after they charged me with beating them up, guess what I did? As soon as I left in front of the chief magistrate on this day, the sixth appearance in front of her, I went right back out on the streets, and guess what? Placards in them again. Placards in them again. Who must go? The PPP must go. Who must go? Lock up again. Back out on the streets again. Lock up again. Until they were probably tired because the police said, man, you ain't tired coming, Brigham? Man, you ain't tired, man? Oh, buddy, give me a little break, no, man. You ain't tired, man? Right in a corner, cardboard box, lie down. Right there, cold concrete, it doesn't matter. Now, I'm not saying all of this to say that, hey, once you sign up for something, and especially politics. For me, I'm an activist, more so. But once you sign up for something to represent the people, you've got to be prepared for lockup. You got to be prepared for beat up. You got to be prepared for jail. If you're not prepared for that, and you find all sorts of excuses not to confront a corrupt regime, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. Something is not adding up, guys. Don't let anyone fool you guys about protesting. There is no, and I repeat, there is no justification, my friends. Absolutely none. No justification for people finding excuses not to go out, not to protest. I've been in hundreds of protests in Guyana, many by myself. And sometimes when you look around, you don't see people. You don't even see the ones who claim that they don't see people. Because when I looked around, I never seen most of these people, I've never seen them in protest. Most of those who are politicians today, members of parliament, you don't see them in protest. It's like everybody's scared. Everybody's afraid. I once asked Ramjatan of the AFC why he doesn't come out and protest. Ramjatan in front of the office of the president, when we were protesting there, Ramjatan said, he ain't protesting to go to jail. He ain't going to jail for no one. Ramjatan said that. He's not going to jail for anybody. Now, if you're a leader and you're fighting for betterment of a country, and you are saying publicly you ain't going to jail for no one, you don't worth being a leader. And so these politicians in Guyana, they have to be prepared. They have to be prepared to go to jail. They have to be prepared to be locked up. And they have to be prepared to be beaten up. Without that, don't tell me that you're a leader. If anybody in this audience right now disagree with me, say it right now. Because without protest, the PPP is not going to. The PPP is not going to be so concerned about anybody. They're going to feel that they could take things for granted. They could do people anything and get away with it. Anything they could do to people. Anything. They could persecute people. They can kill people. They can jail people. They can put people on the blacklist. Those who could cannot go to Guyana. You know, there are quite a few folks whose names are on the list at the airport that as soon as they enter Guyana, the PPP has instructed the police to arrest those individuals. Now, all I can say is that if indeed that they have my name on the list, well, the PPP must say what justification there is. I'm a talk show host. I'm an activist. I don't run away from that. I don't hide it. I want to see the back of the PPP regime. I don't hide it. I don't whisper these things. They got to go. They're corrupt. So I don't beat around the bush. I don't whisper like some of those members of parliament in the opposition who should be out there fighting for the people. Most of them have more mouth when they come to the United States of America. And then when they go back to Guyana, their tails between their legs. They can't say nothing. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And when they get back in Guyana, guess what? Not for them turn sweet boy and sweet girls. You don't even see them. It's like they're not fighting for you any longer. Ganesh, I'm not talking just about you, Ganesh Maipo, but it's like they're not fighting any longer. It's like they no longer have the energy to stand up and represent you. Their form of representation is research and sit down inside the office and say, we trying, you know. And when they don't say we trying, you know, some of them say, we get a strategy. We get a strategy to what, for what? What sort of strategy? Come on, opposition guys. Come on, you guys got to wake up. The Henry Boyce protest, guess what? They call it off. Oh, we don't want people to get locked up. And oh, it was called off. They know why it called off. They all know big time selling out that's happening in the country. And some of them in the opposition got to stop selling people out. Some of them are selling guns to Apache and all these. It's got to stop, guys. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Whoever this Lynette Fraser is, you should go home and lead one and see how many people will come out. Whoever Lynette Fraser is, tell her or him or whoever, I've been there, done that. It doesn't matter to me who come out and who doesn't come out. What matters to me is that I'm there. And many of times, I was there by myself. People in minibuses used to pass them and I look hungry. Sometimes it was true. Why I don't go home? Why I don't get out of here? All sort of things. But what? I stood right there with a placard by myself. Many times by myself. So Lynette Fraser, whoever you are, whoever send you, go back to where they send you. Don't tell me go home and see who they. This way y'all like this sort of nonsense. Silly pet talk. Oh, go home and see if anybody can come out. Who cares if anybody come out? When I go and break down lock up in wherever lock up all throughout the country, you think it bothers me? Or Camp Street, you think it bothers me? No. So whoever Lynette Fraser, whoever send you, oh girl, whoever sent you, I know who sent you, right? And then we started. There was just a couple of us, Lincoln Lewis, Norris Witter, and so forth. Now people frightened to protest. Well, except the few folks out in front of GCOM every Tuesday or Wednesday it is. Rhonda Lane and those people, yeah. I give them credit. I like fighters like Rhonda Lane. I like fighters like that. You see, speaking of Rhonda Lane, she walked right on Sinead. She joined us. I like people like Rhonda Lane, but look, this message is let them know that protest is important. Check out Rhonda Lane.
So if I got children, I must suffer them to take what I don't want to eat for myself. That is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. You're out there in front of GCOM. We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protest every week in front of GCOM.
Tuesday we had 8 persons. Section 8.
One second, Rhonda. I kind of like, honestly, I like that laugh. I'm going to rephrase, I'm going to ask the question again. And
make me laugh, man.
You know, Rhonda is right. Dennis Otwell, thank you. Solitary confinement, he's reminding me. Solitary confinement for 5 years. And then they get some of them like a Lynette, whoever it is. Now, my bumps and raising, but sometimes you wonder why these people make certain go back home in Guyana and lead a protest. I'm not the opposition leader. I'm not an elected official. You know, call on your elected officials to do that. Call on your elected officials to lead protests, to go out there. Protest is not just you go, a sweet boy and a sweet girl thing, you take a couple of pictures and you go on your way. And then you put it on Facebook. And then you say, oh, you've been out there, you've protested with the people. That is not protest. Dennis, you're right. 5 years of solitary confinement couldn't break me. Came out and guess what? Intensified the protest. But, you know, I get costs, I get all sorts of things. It cost me all sorts of things. Madman. Imagine a man confronting the police. Imagine a man confronting the black clothes police and all kind of. Guyana wasn't ready yet. I'm not sure if you're all ready for protesters yet. I'm just not sure if you're all ready for protests. Because some of y'all will bear excuses y'all finding. For the past month, what is it that the opposition has done to really confront the PPP regime? There are a few who are doing that. Few, very few. And that's it. No real confrontation. None. But then when you talk, you hear somebody gets some strategy they're working on, and you can't protest because if you protest, this is what the PPP can. Who cares about the PPP? Who cares what they do? Confront them, protest. That is the way to go. Because when you don't protest, they think everything is hunky-dory. And so what they're going to do, they're going to chip away at your rights every single day. Why do you think they're so bold to go and raid the house, ransack the house of Melissa Atwell, known as Melly Mel, her old grandmother, about Dennis Atwell's age, 87 years old, you raid the woman's house? Melissa Atwell, known as Melly Mel, you raided her mother's house looking for drugs? These police in Guyana, they know who the drug lords are, right? But they're not going to go and raid the drug lords' houses. They're not going to do that. And so an old lady, 87 years old, you go with a van load of police to raid the woman's house. And obviously it is quite obvious that it is a personal attack on Melissa Atwell, known as Melly Mel. It is a personal attack because of her exposing some of them within the PPP regime. So what they're going to do, they're going to go after her now, her relatives back in Guyana. They could have planted drugs in those people's house because that is what they do. They plant stuff on people. But thankfully, they weren't able to plant drugs in Melissa Atwell's Melly Mel mother's house and her grandmother's house and all of these sort of things. You know why these things, guys? I want you guys to really understand me. I don't hate the opposition. I don't dislike the opposition leader. I don't dislike members of parliament. But what I am against is a lazy, find excuses opposition. And that is what we have for the most part, a lazy, find excuses opposition. And when despotic regimes such as the PPP, when they see this, when they see that they're not getting any sort of confrontation, you know what? They get brave. Jack Day, they're going to want to get away with anything and everything because he knows that the opposition, they're going to hit the streets. But you get 500 people every day in the streets confronting the PPP regime every single day. Every single day in the Starbuck News, you see protests. You see 5 protesters get arrested. You see 20 get arrested. What are they going to do? Pull all of the police stations? You've got to stand for something, guys. I recall when I protested, whether in front of the Venezuelan embassy, whether in front of wherever, the police stations and wherever, you know, there were a lot of folks who were in favor of that. Some foreign diplomats will quietly say, kudos, keep it up. And even though I was by myself for quite some time, that is where I get the strength. The quiet ones behind us, kudos, keep it up. Guys like Lincoln Lewis, that is, Norris Witter, and these guys right there. Freddie Kissoon was with us, but he was basically looking, in my opinion, and judging from all that's happened after, he was just looking for protection. I'm not sure that he was serious about the cause, but more so protection. But guys like Norris Witt and these guys, they were there. We were joined a few times by Christopher Ram. You know, and I said this about Freddie Kissoon, not because I want to be bad against him, but look at what he's doing. He's defending these Katahar, these Nimakarams, these token robbers in the PPP regime. And no human rights activist, no activist would ever condone these sort of atrocities happening under the PPP regime. And so I say this, and this is a direct call to the leader of the opposition, who has been missing in action for a while with occasional statement. You cannot run an opposition with occasional statement, and every day people are suffering in that country. Apart from the cost of living, the disrespect of people's rights, violations of their human rights, every single day it is happening. And look, today, if the PPP regime knew that they had serious challenges from the opposition, they would dare not, those corrupt bastards in the Guyana police force would dare not be as vindictive as they were today by sending, and this is what they do every time to opposition of the PPP. They send a van load of policemen, maybe women too, at the house belonging to Melly Mel's mother and her grandmother, an old lady and a not so old lady, to ransack the house, said they're looking for drugs. Again, I ask this question. Do you think, and a lot of you know drug lords in Guyana, right? Irfan Ali knows the drug lords in Guyana. Jack Deere knows the drug lords in Guyana. A lot of those drug lords support the PPP. A lot of them cover up themselves as legitimate businessmen. But we know they're sending tons upon tons of drugs out of the country. They've gotten rich, pretending as though it's through gold smuggling, all these things they do. But do you think the PPP, you think Jack Deere is going to send police to raid a drug lord in Guyana's house or a gold smuggler? Do you think they're going to do that? Nope, they're not going to do that. They're not going to, but they went into the house of an old 87-year-old woman and her daughter, all because those folks are connected to Melly Mel, Melissa Atwell. Oh, so they're going to get back at her now and say, oh, they were looking for drugs. An 87-year-old lady and drugs. I'm sure Melissa Atwell's mother, probably, I don't even know the mother or whatever, but you're going to go and look for drugs just like the drugs? If they can do that, and they've been doing that to people all the time. But this is blatant. It's becoming worse under the PPP regime. But yet those guys in the opposition, either they're a bunch of pussycats, or they just, some of them probably sell out. Some of them are afraid, and some of them just don't care. They don't have the energy. They come on occasional cheap talk and some press conferences and blah, 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 and country gone right back. Blah, 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 and that's it. You cannot win elections with blah, 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 blah. You cannot. And if you have an opposition as divided as it is right now, you can't win an elections like that. So these guys in the opposition, they got to put on their brave cap, and they've got to take to the streets, and they got to confront the PPP in the streets with protest. That is what they've got to do. Why do you think some people are so comfortable disrespecting the opposition? You know, they're getting money for host their little trucks and wind up on the parkway and call that development, call that getting together, wind up, dance up, and that's the end of it. Why you think some of them are comfortable in inviting Irfan to Brooklyn sometime at the end of this month to sit down and have nice coffee and breakfast with him? They're disrespecting us. They're disrespecting the community, guys. And until you guys open your eyes to understand that even though these people are hustling, they're not hustling as part of the struggle. And those people, their businesses or whatever, cannot be supported until they get the act together. Now, if you had a strong opposition, maybe it would have been different. If they had people hitting the streets, maybe it would have been different. But because they see the weakness now, they've gone off and they're going to do things on their own. They're going to sit down with their pan, they're going to have breakfast, and then they might go to Guyana and get a little piece of house land. They might get a little piece of small land. They say they want to start up their little business and thing. That's all. That's what it's about. Selfishness. But it's time that we get a strong opposition to be able to stand up and tell the PPP, enough is enough. Mr. Aubrey Norton, good night. I suppose Mr. Norton is back in Guyana. He was out for quite some time. People need representation, Mr. Norton. You went in there for that. You kicked those other guys out. You won. You kicked them out. The Harman, they were writing letters and that's it. But Mr. Norton, you went in there. You went in there on a mission. You said Claudette Singh got to go. Oops, sorry about that. Claudette Singh got to go. Claudette Singh is still there. Only 6, 7, 8 people go in front of GCOM every Tuesday, and that's it. But when you talk, people bumps raised, they get vexed, they're working on a strategy, they're doing this. Don't worry, Ben Sharp. They know more about none of them know more about protests than to confront a regime. Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them. And this is not to be boastful or disrespectful towards anybody. And again, you guys know how passionate I am about protest. You don't protest to break up a country. No one goes out there in a protest to break up a country. You go on a protest to protect your country and to defend your country against the corrupt bastards who are in there right now. Nobody goes in a protest to burn down or break up or destroy things. People go out in a protest because they need justice. They need attention for the wrong things that are happening in that country. The Henry boys, their families were seeking justice. They weren't seeking to burn up or break up. No. So wait a minute. The folks who protested for the Henry boys, they were bad people, right? That's according to the PPP and according to some of them in the opposition. But the people at Albion that did the same thing are even worse than the people protesting for the Henry boys. The people at Albion, sometime in 2002, 2001, they almost burned down Albion police station and the magistrate. They beat up a magistrate. They throw his car in the trench. They almost beat up Ronald Gadraj, who was then Minister of Home Affairs. All those things they did at a protest. But the PPP described them as legitimate protesters. Any other set of people protest, they're called hooligans, all manner of things. All manner of things. All manner of things. All manner of things. And this is what the opposition folks are feeding into. You know, if we go out and we protest, the PPP gun, this is what the PPP gun think of. To hell with the PPP. The PPP is not a political party. It's a criminal enterprise. And you've got to stand up and confront criminal enterprises through protest. Now, during the course of the protest, they usually plant people to destroy. They plant people, the hooligans. That is what they do. That is why they have certain elements within the PPP regime to do that, to plant individuals. But if you have a protest, how many people they go? Even their own PPP supporters know that this is what the PPP does do. They just plant people, put people there to create problems and blame the opposition. We already know that old tricks of the PPP. That's their old tricks. People got a wind of that. So that's no longer going to, people are not buying into that any longer. They're no longer buying into that. Every time there's a protest, somebody in the opposition call it off. You never get justice, but they call it off because they want to prove to their paymasters, probably in the PPP, that they could call off a protest. So they whisper and call off the protest at the Henry Boyce protest. Call it off. No justice. A day like today, no justice, right? But even when the cane cutters them protest, all sort of things, they protest them chaps serious. The PPP rush and give them what they want. The rice farmers protest, the PPP rush and quiet them down. But any other person protest, they're going to beat them and they're going to lock them up. And that is what is scaring the leadership of the opposition right now. I'm even sure if is Nigel going to go out and protest, Cathy Hughes and David Patterson and them? Are they going to hit the streets and protest? I don't know. Everybody, they just fed up, they just give up. They just give up. But every time you talk, a bunch of excuses why we can't protest, right, GT Rivera? If we protest, the PPP gonna do to hell with the PPP. I know some of them in the audience might be cussing me right now. It's okay. All kind of things happen to me over the years. Well, not really all kind of things, but cuss up, all sort of things. Mark, why don't carry us? Mark, all sort. It's okay. Sometimes when you speak the truth, these things happen, right? I don't know what's happening every single day, every day. Take a look at this here. You think with protests, and sometimes people message me and say, Mark, we wish you were in Guyana. Mark, we wish you were in Guyana. Okay, yeah. Now look at this. Elections fraud trial. Delayed further as magistrate remains ill. The magistrate is ill. The magistrate is ill because of the charges. The charges is no good. It's fake. And look at the people they're dragging before the courts. Y'all can't see what is happening in Guyana. If y'all can't see what is happening, something wrong with all you, especially them in the opposition, something wrong with them. If thousands of people would have been protesting for these people, you ain't brocking up, you ain't destroying anything, you're turning up at the court. Every single day. How many of you guys remember my treason trial? They're blocked off miles away, miles every single day. But hundreds of people still turned out to protest, to attend the court while I was going. But look at these people just going to court, just so. No support, no nothing, except a couple of friends and so forth. Is that Lincoln Lewis next to Mr. Lowenfield and others? Look at that. Look at that. That is why the PPP is getting away with these sort of things. And every single day when you hear excuses upon excuses and justification as to why there shouldn't be protests, I am saying this to you guys. There isn't anybody in the opposition right now. And I've never been this boastful. But there isn't anyone in the opposition right now who knows more about protest than I do. And I am telling you guys, protest is effective to break the back of the PPP regime. And those who are against protest, for me, they're suspicious. I'll take a quick break and be right back, guys. I'll be right back.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people corruption inside every sector. But when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue, cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1,500 US and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done.
Everybody fed up. Everybody fed up with the nonsense, right? Everyone is fed up about the nonsense. If you aren't fed up, well, tell me something is wrong with you. If you are not fed up, something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Everybody's fed up. Everyone is fed up. You know, you got those folks going to court every single day, every single time they go to court, running behind them to go to court. The objective is basically it's a scare tactic. And that is why those in the opposition should not be encouraging their people or giving the impression as though protest is bad. They've got to stop. Basically, what they do is they weaken their support base. When they come out and they say and find all sorts of justification not to protest, you know what they're doing there is scare tactic that they're using, and they're working in favor of the PPP with that. That is what they're doing. That is what they're doing. And the PPP loves it when they do that. The PPP loves when they do that. And some of you will understand what I'm talking about. Continue with your leaders who try to tell you all sort of nonsense. MH, whoever you are, we understand frustration, but them kind of words not here, please. We understand, but you know, we understand the frustration and so forth. But take it easy, right? Take it easy. What else happening in your neck of the woods before we go, right? Everybody fed up of the PPP. And again, I show you guys protest is important. There's nothing wrong with protest. And when they get a little slight protest, they get some of them in the opposition when you don't see them. There's give you all the impression that it's they that behind it. It's them that behind them, and they're behind nothing. Some of them they're behind is the little paycheck at the end of the month. That's all. What some of them they're behind. Meanwhile, look, they allow this Paku in Guyana without a protest. Look at what he's saying. Look at where he is. And then he's saying to Guyanese, this disrespectful Paku, saying to Guyanese that Maduro is good for Guyana. He means good. This hustler, this scamp, this political scamp in his own country. That is what they're doing. A political scamp. But Maduro is good for Guyana. A man who claimed 3/4 of Guyana. A man who sent troops at our border. A man who's sending in hundreds of his folks, some of them from the army, hugging and kissing up with Barrett Jackdale, kissing up and doing whatever else with Barrett and Irfan Ali. This flatfoot hustler, this political prostitute, Ralph Gonzalez, is saying that Maduro is good for Guyana. Maduro is good for Guyana. That is what they're saying. That is what he's saying. But yet Guyanese sit down right there. They sit down right there, and them in doing nothing, and them in saying nothing. But they just sit down and accepting him. You know? And then, meanwhile, the opposition quiet. Like if they sell out, like some of them, like if they sell out, they just sit down there. They're frightened to speak. They're frightened to condemn the PPP regime. One or two of them doing it, yeah, don't get me wrong. But the bulk of them, you don't hear from them. They don't do nothing. They don't say nothing. Look at this guy, Ralph Ramkaran. Scrap current constitution reform process. He's calling on it to be scrapped, right? Scrap it. Scrap it. But he sat there as Speaker of the National Assembly and he condoned so many wrong things. right there in the National Assembly. Violation of people's rights. All because he was voting, for the most part, 99% of the times, he voted with the PPP. They all were there. They were enjoying everything. And now we've got to move forward. Well, I don't agree with that wishy-washy constitutional reform that they have. It's wishy-washy because 95% of the people there don't even understand why they're there. They were just picked there by their parties, whether it's the PPP, AFC, PNC, whatever. Majority of them don't know what's happening. This guy is saying scrap it. Yeah. Why don't we just scrap Guy Sucre too? But he ain't gonna say so. Billions of dollars stolen. Where is the audit? Can we have an audit right now of Guy Sucre? It is alleged that Jack Deo and Air Finale, they are blocking an audit of Guy Sucre. And the former CEO of Guy Sucre is now an ambassador in Europe. Can they say whether money's hundreds of millions of dollars missing under this guy's stewardship? Says Narayan Singh, can they say whether it's true or not? No allegations, mind you. But why is it that they're preventing an audit? And then again, yeah. Nice opposition, right? When you have a nice opposition, a soft opposition, well, what can happen? Soft opposition, right? Soft opposition. We all fed up, right? Yeah, more than just fed up. But I'm out of here, guys. 10 o'clock. I'm out of here. Y'all enjoy y'all night. And for those who want to cuss and who want to say that protest, yeah, we shouldn't protest, and y'all shouldn't protest, and y'all sit down in y'all corner. Y'all sit down in y'all corner. When they start raiding y'all houses and all sorts of things, when it hit y'all doorstep, then y'all gonna understand why protest is important. Y'all gonna understand. I'm out of here, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. Some of y'all could cuss me, Some of y'all gonna cuss me. Y'all gonna cuss me. Ben Sharp saying about protest. Why you don't come back to Guyana? I've been there in the rough times. Not social media times, Right, Francine Cruz and others? Not social media time. I get a little old now, so I ain't in the car now watching. But I can speak. Because I've been there. Done that, got the scars for that. So y'all call on those people that are being paid every month and getting all sorts of sweetness to represent y'all interest. Call on them to represent y'all interest. Call on them to go and protest in the streets. Y'all don't call on me to protest. I gone, man. Rhonda Lane, thank you for what you do, girl. Well, sorry that I call you a girl, but thank you for what you do, my friend. Thank you for what you do. And all the brave folks like Rhonda Lane, thank you all so much. Guyana needs brave people in politics, not pussycats. Right now in the opposition, we have a bunch of pussycats. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come.
Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police are come and the gala holla murder.
So if I got children, I must suffer them to take what I don't want to eat for myself. That is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. out there in front of GCOM? We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protests every week in front of GCOM.
Tuesday we had 8 persons. Essentially.
One second, Rhonda. I kind of like, honestly, I like that laugh. I'm going to rephrase, I'm going to ask the question again. And
man, don't make me laugh, man. I tell you.
Rhonda, 1 second. 1 second, Rhonda. I'll ask you the question again. Rhonda, can you give us an update on the protest in front of GCOM?
Man, he had 8 persons at the protest.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear in the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue, cause I done fed up.